I mean, people are like, it can't be that bad. Are you serious? Is it really that bad? Come
So-
on, Cody,
so
you're
there's
exaggerating.
There's a person inside, a friend of mine that works with me and stuff, and she's gotten to the point now where she watches a lot of the family court cases because she's heard of my case.
Yeah.
And she's like, just watch. That's what I told her. I said, just watch.
Yeah.
Just go watch one hearing.
Yeah.
And you'll see that, well, he goes to work every day, and she goes to work every day, but he's not going to get the kids.
Yeah.
Why? And that's an everyday thing. It really is. The other thing behind that is, and if we could tell anything about hints moving forward for anybody going through it, is ask for records.
Yeah.
If they are a part of any child custody evaluation, if they're a part of any counseling, if they're a part of anything, ask for the records.
Yeah.
We are seeing over and over, time and time again, Dr. O'Connor, who's going through some of this stuff, is he's asked for them, not get them.
Yeah.
Denied them. Well, now there's more people that are getting denied because when you ask for the records, and Brooks McKenzie will tell you this, when you ask for the records and you get denied, that's your first clue.
Yeah.
That's your first clue.
Yeah.
Because that's when stuff starts to get muddied.
Yeah.
The water is muddied because now you're asking for them to prove what they alleged in court. And in my case, when I got the records from one counselor but still fighting for the other one, it didn't match.
Yeah.
And none of it matched.
Yeah.
The audios, the notes, or her testimony.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are telling the judge. And that's what the judge is going to go. The recommendation was, and then now I get to hide behind that recommendation.
Yeah.
It's not me making this decision.
I know,
It's a professional making that decision.
Yeah.
And it's a hard burden.
And the professionals really sometimes don't even have the qualifications.
They don't even have it. But in a small county, they'll allow them.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I think we ought to be looking at a lot more, because, these courts have their rules. And we have the courts of public opinion. And that's why I think, we need to be, the courts of public opinion are ours.
Right.
They can't play in our courts. If they do, we'll sue them in their courts. But we need to be able to tell what's going on about these judges. You mentioned Judge Larry Thorne.
Yes.
And a horrible judge.
Worthless.
And he ought to be, people ought to know him. I mean, whether it's like what President Trump used to do is give everybody a nickname. So that, like Larry the Liar, I mean, whatever,
Yep.
or Thorne just something that, whenever you hear his name, you think he's an awful person. Because he's an awful person.
How in the world could somebody possibly sleep at night knowing they took a kid away for whatever reason, only to appoint a child custody evaluator, and that custody evaluator sit there, look you in the eye, and say, there's nothing here?
Right. And that was a good child custody evaluator, because a lot of times the child custody evaluators are hired guns. For example, we talked about Dr. O'Connor. Catherine Mousey was one of his judges until she got recused. But Catherine Mousey, as a family law attorney, used Alyssa Sherry, Dr. Alyssa Sherry, who is a feminist who has a ton of issues. So they had this long-standing relationship, right? Because I'm a family law attorney. I have Alyssa Sherry as my child custody evaluator. How do you want me to rule there, Judge? Okay.
Right.
Our family. So they have this, and now the judge appoints Alyssa Sherry to be a child custody evaluator. Do you think that this is not corrupt, and that they're not feeding each other's friendships and everything else?
Well, you can get a lot of money through individual therapy, but you can get tons of money through child custody evaluations.
Yeah.
You can almost, and now, Dr. Brooks McKenzie and I were talking the other day, now you can also use the word reunification therapy.
That's another, I know.
There's nothing in the family code reunification therapy, and they're charging out the boatloads. And then what'll happen is they'll go through there, and a parent asks, okay, let me get your notes, or hey, are we able to do this? And now, you're questioning my ethics, you're questioning the way I do things. I want off of it.
Right.
You went through 8 sessions, you paid $200 a session, whatever it may be, and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Now they recuse themselves and they take your money.
Yeah.
You still don't get to see your kid. There's nothing greater.
Yeah.
Now you got to go find somebody else.
Or else, the attorneys that will take your money, and just to go to trial, we need another $15,000. I don't have it. Sorry, I cannot take your case to trial.
Yep.
And that happens regularly as well.
You see that a lot, and that's in the pro se dad group. That's a lot of them that come in there and they're just like, man, I had an attorney and he just dropped. I couldn't afford to keep going.
Yeah. So you mentioned the pro se law group. I'm a part of that. I don't get to follow it as much. And to be honest, I don't follow a lot of things as much because I'm just too busy on my own. But we talked about the pro se attorney. We know people that are giving courses here. The guy that I know, Larry DeMarco, out of the Philadelphia area, he's got a course up. But what I've seen, though, and tell me if this is what you've seen as well, by and large, the people that I have seen that have won have had a very strong either pro se appearance, or they've been able to direct an attorney that would do things that they wanted to, but very few times that I've seen for men, and I don't know about women, I do know, I've talked to women that have been screwed over too, but for men, the ones that have won have been the ones that have been willing to do battle, and do battle with themselves as being like the warrior in charge.
So, I have this hearing actually recorded, and I was in one hearing for mine, which was a motion to compel for 2 quashes to try to get information from these counselors. There were 7 attorneys against me. 7 in here. So Benjamin Schooley is the one who's over the little pro se dad group that does a lot to help, and he puts files up, and he's not giving legal advice, but he's allowed to talk about it to try to help further the cause, which again, giving legal advice, and that's a very stickler in itself. But he sat right there and he watched the majority of it, and there's only a couple of little tidbits that I probably would have done different, but at the end of the day, I went nail to nail with them. Yeah. Where's your evidence? Yeah. Quit talking. Yeah. I want to put you on the stand. Let's talk about what this actually is and where you came it from. You get the judge to rule on something other than being told what to rule on.
When an attorney testifies, that attorney is not sworn in under oath.
Nope.
And I think that I've watched the judges with attorney fees. So Judge Jan Soifer actually started to swear attorneys in when they testified to their attorney fees, because there was some type of a ruling that basically said you need to swear them in. Now, not all judges are doing this, even still. But I think it's very important because the assumption is that as officers of the court, the attorneys, they will never lie. And anybody who's been in court, it's kind of like we said, well, I'm just going to tell the judge the truth, and the judge will see things my way. And you're like, that's naive. We laugh because we know.
So one of the things, you're right, we do laugh because we know, because we've been through it, we've witnessed it, we watch it on a daily basis.